Reviewing the drawing template and the sheet format, found that I overlooked the projection symbol, so I got my surface finish in there. Going to the ASME standard, they have a recommendation for the projection symbol. So first angle projection, we talked about the projections, but would like to have that as a designation on our print. Don't know what that was doing. Crop it out. We'll go with the using a block. Don't use blocks that often, but they are kind of handy. So that being the case, let's fly this out of the way. And I'm just going to put this block on the main sheet just as a starting point. In my practice, I used the midpoint line, but it produced several additional points. So I don't know that I will go back to that. So for our circles, we are, let's go into the sketch tools, and we'll pick and pick, and these are going to be a little bit larger when I figure out how big I want them to be. So I don't want to apply dimensions just yet. If I need to, I will, but if I go to 50 thousandths on the radius, that would be 100 thousandths on the diameter, and then 100 thousandths would be 200 thousandths, so that gives me scale to work with, and that is just a little bit off. So we'll see if that picked up a midpoint on the vertical. So if I move that, that should clean that up. All right, so I don't know that I can, well, let's just start. We'll draw the couple lines and that vertical. So using the conic section gives a real good indicator of its of the type of projection. So let's go midpoint and make midpoint. And I'm not sure what it, oh, that was the midpoint. So select midpoint and the line and make it coincident. And then that'll get a little closer together. And we'll shrink those down. All right, so if I do apply the dimension, we can hide those dimensions, but, and I did not get my center. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension these out a little bit so that they'll stay. But if we hide dimensions, I don't know that that's as efficient as just once we create the block, it will have the desired results. So this was 0.5, and it reversed on me and got bigger. So 0.025 for the half H. And it did it again. I did not grab my leaders. So let's go to max, go to the min. So now we just need to reverse that dimension since I can flip. All right, reverse the sense of the dimension. All right, so that's looking a little better. And then, yeah, then go back to the parameters. So 0.1 for that end. Should probably have done the other end. Control Z, because it reversed itself. So 0.2 and 0.1. That's still reversed. All right, well, we're going to put the dimensions on it then. And I got a filter, so F6. So using something this small is kind of tricky without the dimensions flip-flopping. There we go. We'll pull that back. and go 0.2, and then the overall will be the 0.1. No, that was total H for the radius of 0.2. All right, so that looks pretty good, but my dimensions are not quite scaling. So, well, I'm doing this in the drawing rather than a sketch, so the dimensions are going to stay the same size. All right, so F6 will turn off the filter. See if I can do this without moving anything. All right, so the goal was to get all of those to size that we can verify. So that one changed. And it moved that one a little bit. And I'm hesitant to put in the fix because I think it will probably mess with my geometry. So let's try the dimension one more time. Thought I had it. Okay, so what I want is that to line up and that to line up. So 0.1 on the radius, 0.05, so 100 and 200 on the diameters. I think everything else looks pretty good. That should be a little bit over 200. And now we can make our block. All right, so if I put dimensions on there and hide them, I don't know that helps. So under tools and block, we're going to make that a block, and I want an insertion point if I need to move it. So we'll put that at the midpoint and that at the midpoint and hit OK. So at this point, if I save it, well, the advantage of the block then is now all of this moves as a unit. It treats it as one block. So if I want to include this in my sheet format, I'm going to hit the Control X and edit the sheet format. And I think I have enough room down here to Control V. And actually, that looks pretty good. I don't know that I need to move it, but I can drag it around. And one of the downsides to the blocks is if I save this and insert it, the drawing treats it kind of strangely whenever we go to save. So we'll see what this does being an internal block. All right, so File, Save Sheet Format. You should be well versed in this process by now. And I also want to make sure to save the drawing template and the My Landscape drawing template. All right, make sure to close it, and then New for the test, My Landscape. All right, comes in with my projection symbol, my surface finish, and it's it's moving along pretty good. So the quick check. All right, so there are blocks with duplicate names on other sheets. You can use already existing blocks or rename the new blocks. Do you want to rename? No. I really don't want to see that every time, and not sure why that popped back up. So let's Control B. All right, so more diagnostics to do. Okay, so let's edit the sheet format, and that did make it into the format. So So I'll go ahead and delete that out. Well, I'm in the second sheet, so let's go ahead and just delete sheet 2. And do the arrows. Yes. All right, so for whatever reason that doesn't show up on sheet 1, and then since I'm editing the sheet, I'm going to go ahead and save this block. So when I highlight it, let's see, I should get. Well, that's been created. So if I go back to Tools, into the Block Tools, then I can save. And I'll just put that as my first projection. And then since I really don't want to see that pop up every time, I'm just going to explode the block. Now it won't move as a unit anymore. but I shouldn't have to mess with it. I hopefully won't have to mess with it again. So one more time with the save sheet format, my landscape. We'll save the document template just to make sure that everything updates. Drawing template, a landscape, save, yes. Now I need to find out why, if the symbol's still popping up on the second sheet. So that looks okay. After a few choice words, I went into the to the second sheet and I deleted the symbol that was popping up. So if you get those ghost images of things that you've added for whatever reason, I removed it, and then in this case all I did was save the sheet format. So that was a fairly easy fix, but you got to work through the process, work through the diagnostics, and keep checking these to verify that they're working correctly.